I just couldn't imagine my life without writing in it. It's what gets me through the day. It's therapy. It's making sure that my stories are heard, that my children's stories are heard, that my children see themselves in their literature. And so I couldn't imagine myself living a life where I'm not doing that. The first time I picked up my pen to write, I was probably about 7 years old, and I was writing the same things that I think I still write today, which I really focused a lot on what was going on in the world around me. Even at 7, I was very curious. He sat with me, vulnerable, shoulders slouched over, eyes hollowed and empty, looking defeated. The news was out. We were having black bodies for breakfast again. The first time that I ever got on stage to do poetry was the shakiest experience I've ever had. Literally, I was shaking and the paper was probably louder than my actual poem. But it was a really freeing feeling. And I remember it was in the back room of this restaurant, this Portuguese restaurant at college in Ossington, Cervejaria, and it was just, I felt free after reading that piece. Nervous getting up there, but as I was going through it, I just really felt everything that I had inside was coming off, and ever since then I've never stopped. I think I write because I would literally explode if I had to keep all of the thoughts that I have inside of my mind inside. I feel like it gives me freedom. I feel like it connects me to other people that I might never have been connected to. Right now, my main theme is motherhood. Everything that I write about centers around motherhood, being a black mother in particular to black children. And I do it for my kids, even though it takes time away from them in the sense of writing in my room or writing in another space away from them sometimes. I do write because they influence everything I write, and so it's really for them to see, to remember me by, to know that their mother left her imprint in this world and that they can do the same, and that these were my words, and nobody's going to tell them how their mother was because she left all her words laid out on a paper for them. I think the other main theme that I talk about is just generally blackness, what it means to be a black person, a black body, a black woman in North America, and the realities that are happening to the black community. My parents' cultural background really influences the way that I write. Both of their cultures have immense stories about so many things, from revolution to, slaves coming over to the coast of Trinidad, to revolutionary leaders like taking back Poland from Russia. And so it's just a really rich history on both sides, and I utilize both of those things and I identify both of those things, and I really love to be able to incorporate those things into my poetry. It's a mixture, and just like Toronto is a mixture, and being a mixed city has a lot of stories to share, and I'm just looking for my place to put my stories in. Realize that I don't have the privilege to even tune out, because it is so in tune, it finds me every single time and holds my eyes wide open, woke as ever. See it all through teary eyes, blur my screen, detonating bombs which destroy any peace I have tried to find. Makes me feel like, as a black woman, marrying a black man, having black children, it's clear in this society, peace was never supposed to be mine. I feel like Toronto is like one of those places, like you go a few blocks and you're in another part of the world. And so you can draw from that inspiration there. I'm somebody who's worked in community as an artist, and so all of those communities carry their own history and their own stories, and they're just so fascinating. You'll find the best nuggets of interesting facts that you wouldn't find on any city website. And so that then sparks me to write something different every time. And that makes my poetry never stale, because I'm always on point. I think for people who think they don't have a story to tell, that they should take some time and meditate, look deep within. I always tell my students this, because everybody has a story. Every chat room, every Facebook post is just the beginning of a story. Every locker drama, gossip situation for all my kids in high school is the beginning of a story. So we all have stories. We live with stories every day. Every day you're actually a writer of your own story, in your mind or in the way that you speak. You might not be published, but you're telling stories every day. And so I implore people to look within themselves, to find their own stories, so that they themselves can feel situated in society and make sure that they feel included and that their legacy and their imprint is here. And don't ever let anybody try to rewrite your story for you. He sat with me, vulnerable, his shoulders slouched over, his eyes hollowed and empty, looking defeated. The news was out. We were having black bodies for breakfast again. Consuming the media portals, he poured his soul out into my cup. Nothing but black water, no cream, no sugar, nothing sweet about it. Just bitter conversation about another two brothers who probably wondered if they were going to be next at some point. Who probably had the same conversation with their spouses. Vulnerable, shoulders slouched over, eyes hollowed and empty, replaying every unjust encounter they had had with law enforcement prior. Wondering how they were going to protect their children from ingesting images of black bodies up for consumption by news media outlets. Nothing but eggs, bacon, and hashtag names for breakfast this morning. Sipping on salted tears for black men I didn't know personally. But Alton Sterling and Philando Castile, I take your deaths personally. Because the person who means most to me looks just like you, and the news of your murders has him sitting at this breakfast table looking personally broken. Seeing a black man vulnerable and open is a rare sight. I am not accustomed to capturing, but there it is, living. In snapshotted memory of an expression so full of hopelessness as it replays over in my mind, reminding me there was nothing I could do to make it better. Nothing I could do to make it taste less bitter, going down, nothing I could do to have never saw it in the first place. Black bodies are today's lunch hour conversation at my workplace. Friends send triggers through every app I haven't yet deleted. On a week I tried to detox from the triggers of trolling Twitter fingers, Facebook, and Instagram. I still face images which instantly re-traumatize me, realize that I don't even have the privilege to even tune out. Because it is so in tune, it finds me every single time and holds my eyes wide open, woke as ever. See it all through teary eyes, blur my screen, detonating bombs which destroy any peace I have tried to find, makes me feel like as a black woman, marrying a black man, having black children, it's clear in this society, peace was never supposed to be mine. In every restaurant, black bodies appear, the side conversation to my main course. As CP24 replays the disturbing content, I inhale it faster than my food. Digest it and regurgitate stories of brutalized black bodies, my dinner time conversation. Tonight and every night, breaking stories keep replaying from across the borders, from as far away as the US to as close as Brampton. But black bodies are borderless. And so no matter what happens, it always feels way too close to home. It has penetrated our tongues and our thoughts. It has seeped into the walls of our minds as it sits on the walls of my living room as a Black Lives Matter painted canvas reminds me that we in this house are worth more than that projected to us from our screens. I cannot avoid conversations anymore about black bodies at breakfast or lunch or dinner or with my 4-year-old daughter who wants to know why all the black faces on the banner at the protest had to die. Or future conversations with my son, I practice like reciting a brand new poem for slam competitions in hopes that if I recite it perfectly, he might not be the next conversation we have at this table. But I can't guarantee it, and neither can he. So all my partner can do is just sit there, a black man, vulnerable, shoulders slouched over, eyes hollowed and empty, pouring his soul into my cup. Nothing sweet about knowing it's another morning of black bodies for breakfast. And I've never been someone who can stomach my coffee black. No cream, no sugar.